Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissett, licensed clinical social worker with Terrible Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it very much. And you know, at this time of the year, we kind of tend to spend a little bit of time talking about and thinking about what we've done, where we've come from, and maybe more importantly, where we're going. We're very glad to have a specialist here to talk with us about that. We welcome Amelia Castell. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. Listen, I would go through all your letters, but boy, that would take us a little while. So instead of doing that, tell us just a little bit about you, some of your certifications, some of your specialties, because I think people would really appreciate getting to know all of the different things you've been invested in.
Sure thing. So I am a graduate of Nicholls State University. I earned my bachelor's and master's both from Nicholls State.
Okay.
I studied allied health sciences with a concentration in athletic training. So by trade, one would call me an athletic trainer, and that's kind of an ambiguous term. A lot of people don't really understand what that means.
Too big of an umbrella?
Yeah, it doesn't really portray what athletic trainers do. They don't necessarily train athletes.
Right.
So it can be a little bit confusing, but I guess a better definition of an athletic trainer would be someone who specializes in the prevention, assessment, treatment, and rehabilitation of injuries in athletes. So I've been a certified athletic trainer for 17 years. So I've been working in that field for most of my career. But as that time has gone on, I just have become more intrigued and gained passion in other wellness-related fields, and since have become certified in strength conditioning, personal training, and tactical strength and conditioning.
Oh my! Some specificity, if you will, to that general athletic training perspective. You've kind of drilled down and gotten a little more specialties in different areas.
Yeah, and I'm excited in the new year to maybe offer some services to different populations in Terrebonne Parish to help those populations.
Okay. So speaking of that, let's talk about that wellness piece just for a minute. What is one of those things that maybe some reasons that people need to explore wellness in the year 2023?
Yeah, so we are approaching a new year.
Right.
And as we know, a lot of people are going to have New Year's resolutions. And a lot of those resolutions are going to be centered on some sort of wellness, whether it be eating better, starting a new fitness regimen, quit smoking, consuming less alcohol. A lot of times it's wellness related, and although you don't need a resolution to better your health, it can be a good jump start for a lot of people. About 9 to 12% of people are actually successful in their New Year's resolutions, which is a low I but if you think about it, that's about 10% that reach their goal. So I think.
And so what do people need to do to be able to be part of that 10%? What's maybe some tips?
Right. So the two biggest keys to success in maintaining a resolution are strong motivation. So know your why. Why do you want to do this? And really focusing in on that and reminding yourself constantly of that. And also just taking small steps. Don't ask too much of yourself.
Right.
You know?
Don't set yourself up to fail, right? Don't make that first goal too big.
Right. Don't make 5 different goals, and when you can barely keep up with one of them, you feel bad about yourself and then you give up. Focus on one thing and take small steps to reach those goals. So goal setting is also very important. So having a goal, having timelines associated with those goals, and seeking out professionals who can help you if it's something that you really have struggled with over the last few years, or you continually make this resolution. You know, if it's to lose weight, maybe go see a dietitian for the first time. They can maybe get you over that hump and get you where you need to be to reach your goals. Right.
So make a plan. Don't set yourself up to fail, so small goals, and seek a little help if you need to do that with that. I like that. Very, very nice. So let's talk a little bit about some of the student athletes in the area. That's something that it sounds like from some of the work that you're trying to do that you spend a little time talking about and thinking about. You know, I know there was a time when it was just general exercise, but now we're doing things a little more sport specific. Let's talk about that some.
Right. So sports specificity has really come into play, and sports performance is a newer area where people are just trying to get that advantage of being better in their sport, better in their position. A lot of people, they want to try to play sports in collegiate setting and move on to the next level. So strength conditioning has really had a little bit of a boom in recent years. Strength conditioning specialists are professionals who apply scientific knowledge with the primary goal of improving athletic performance in athletes. So athletes who participate in a well-designed strength conditioning program have the advantage of being more athletic, having better health, being more confident, and that's all done by, we're trying to get you faster, stronger, more powerful, just overall more athletic, and just move more efficiently. Those are all things that certified strength conditioning specialists can aid in that development of the athlete.
Right, and making that difference. And I know it's very different for each of the different sports, so I kind of like to take a short break, and then when we come back, I kind of want to talk a little bit about how we develop some of those programs, because over the years, I've been just thinking about how, even just, if we look just at football, a defensive lineman is very different from what they do, even from an offensive lineman. And so
Right.
some of those things are different. And that's certainly very different from a quarterback, receiver, running back, those kinds of things.
Right.
One of those things we were talking about the specific differences, it's one of those things that we talk about all the time about athletes, how you can't teach speed, but you were just talking a little bit about how we can maybe improve somebody's speed to reach their ultimate potential.
Right, so everyone is born with their makeup and
Right.
their capacity for speed or power or strength, but professionals, namely strength conditioning professionals, can enhance someone's speed, can enhance someone's power and strength so that they can get to that capacity or get closer to that capacity, always improving and getting you to be the best athlete that you can possibly be.
Yeah, and a lot of these athletes they're wanting to do different things, and some of them want to just get stronger, some of them want to get faster, some want to have better mechanics, and it's really good to be able to have some awareness of them coming in, kind of knowing maybe what they want to do, and you being able to make a plan with and for them about that.
Right, and I think that's where my athletic training background really, helps me in the biomechanics, and you can kind of see where someone might have limitations on mobility or flexibility, or they have too much range of motion. So looking for those cues and those markers to really enhance an athlete's overall wellness and capabilities on the playing field.
Okay. Now, is there some general exercises or activities that's kind of good for everybody?
Yeah, obviously specificity is good when we are talking about sports and individual positions, but the fundamentals of, cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, power exercises. I particularly really like barbell work, the deadlift, the presses, full body
Right.
exercises such as the clean and jerk are probably some of my main go-tos.
Some of your favorites, huh?
Yeah.
Very good. Now, one of the things you mentioned as well is about dealing with people and their injuries. Let's talk a little bit about how y'all kind of follow that process. And I know Terrebonne General really does a great job there at the Community Wellness Center about that.
Right, so strength conditioning professionals and athletic trainers work hand in hand, on a daily basis, getting athletes where they need to be, back on the field as soon and as safely as possible. And Terrebonne General's Community Sports Institute athletic trainers do a great job of that. And hopefully we can get, a partnership with the schools in some sort of strength conditioning capacity, and just further enhance that commitment to injury prevention and wellness.
Yeah, and trying to maybe help work with the coaches, right? Do some training for them and just kind of partner with them since we don't really have athletic trainers in the school system themselves.
Right. So, the athletic trainers, they do have athletic
Right.
trainers, but yeah, partnering with the coaches. We obviously don't want to alienate the coaches. We want it to
Right.
be a partnership where everyone's involved. Facilitate a process that works for everybody and improving the lives of young athletes in the area.
Well, and with this time of year, I would think that maybe there's some former athletes that trained here. Maybe they're professional athletes with a little bit of a break. Are y'all kind of working with some of those people as well?
Yeah, the Performance Training Center on site at Terrebonne General, they regularly offer performance training classes for middle school, high school, and collegiate athletes. And right now, since it's winter break, they do have several collegiate athletes preparing, for their upcoming seasons in the spring, so that they're best prepared to function at the highest possible level when they return to campus.
Okay, very cool. Now, what about outside specialists coming in and working with some people in the schools and things? I don't know if there's some examples of that.
Well, strength conditioning is pretty commonplace
Right.
in the collegiate setting, but
Okay.
it's very rare in the high school setting, in Louisiana at least, and especially in this area.
Okay.
But it would definitely be something to add value, I believe, to the schools.
Okay.
And like I said, just giving them that a little bit of advantage, and also preparing athletes who want to go on to the next level, or just have student athletes gain confidence in their everyday life and keeping them physically active.
Right. Especially, during this, it's just always a struggle during the holiday season, right? You're away from your normal routine. There's so many more options for things that maybe that you wouldn't normally be eating, or the option to maybe not go and train or work out. And so it's good to have somebody who's kind of helping to motivate you to kind of keep you on track.
Right. And those guys at the Performance Training Center do an awesome job. Scientifically based programming, personalized coaching. They do a great job there. So if anyone is looking for that sort of training, I would implore them to look into that. And they even offer general fit classes to the general public. So you don't have to be an athlete to go there and reap the benefits from certified strength conditioning specialists.
Yeah, and so one of those things, and we're probably not going to have time for it in this segment, but really being able to do a specialized program for individuals. Maybe we can just talk a little bit about how that process starts in the last 20 seconds of this particular segment.
Right. So everyone has their individual goals,
Right.
aspirations, injury histories, medical conditions, maybe physical capabilities. And having a coach that knows you and knows what your abilities are and maybe what you're not able to do, being able to modify those things so that you feel like you can do it and you're still on a road to improvement is really
A great
good
starting
setup.
point. Y'all look at all of the different aspects. It's just really cool. It's not just about the athletes. It's about people who want to get in better shape. But there's so many different aspects to that. So one of those is nutrition. Let's talk about how nutrition plays a role in all of this.
Nutrition is paramount.
Okay.
Really, it's one of the cornerstones of any wellness program. And if you're getting down to sports performance, it has to be a part of your sports performance program. We have great dietitians at Terrebonne General. We work closely with Michelle Brasino. She's a registered dietitian for Terrebonne General, and she actually just received certification. She's only one of 3 in Louisiana certified in obesity and weight management.
Oh, wow.
Right.
One of 3. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. We're very proud of that accomplishment, and hoping that she can just continue to help the people of Homa and Terrebonne Parish.
And so it's really interesting. It goes in line with that assessment that's done, kind of looking at that history of the injuries, looks at some of the things that they can or can't accomplish based on some of their goals. But the nutrition piece makes a difference as well for people that have a proclivity one way or the other. They have low protein, or they have high protein, or they have a certain blood type that will make or help them do certain things. And not everybody has the same nutritional program, like not everybody has the same management program with what they're doing for their sports performance, right?
Right. Just like anything, everyone's unique,
Okay.
and they have their own needs. Some people may have deficiencies.
Right?
Eating disorders, it's not a super common thing, but it's something that
real.
does happen.
Right.
So it's good to have those professionals who can spot those things, recognize those things and help people get on track to being a healthier you.
And a little bit, and the better version of themselves and getting over that.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about this tactical strength and conditioning training. That's really interesting to me.
Right. So it was a newer certification with the National Strength Conditioning Association that, they were putting out there as offering, and it just really got me interested because I've worked with sport athletes
Right.
pretty much my whole career.
Right.
And I just feel like that tactical population, so we're talking about military, fire and rescue,
Okay.
law enforcement, other emergency responders, they don't normally get the same, I guess, attention that sport athletes get when
Right.
they're out there doing athletic activities.
Right.
So
It's necessary for their job.
Right.
So we see about the sports athlete, it's, that's because they do that for fun or that's something they enjoy. But, our first responders need
Right.
these kind of things. Is there something available in 2023?
Yeah, so we hope to be able to start some sort of programming
Okay.
to assist that tactical population in the
Wow.
area. So, helping promote wellness, reduce injuries,
Right.
and improve their performance on their job.
Yeah, because they basically have to do that on their own.
Right.
Or if there's something that's specific to their organization, like HPD, Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office, the Sheriff's, whatever it may be. So that's awesome to have somebody experienced like you in doing that with tactical training.
Right. And a lot of them, I'm sure, work out already and have some sort of fitness regimen, but using that scientific approach of doing a needs analysis
Right.
and testing
Right.
and seeing what we can do to help them be better at their job, whether
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
carrying a rucksack or having to drag a large load, anything like that. So
Okay.
we can use their job
Right.
responsibilities.
Specific job responsibilities.
Correct.
Gotcha. Any idea where that's going to take place? I know y'all are kind of digging into that right now, right?
Right. So we're looking at that right now.
Right.
There is some potential for on-site training or on-site meaning at Terrebonne General, or
Okay.
we want to try to be innovative, creative, and see how we can best partner with those types of populations, and that may be out in the community.
Okay. One of the more important things that I think is necessary is kind of figuring out how or why you should work with somebody, and maybe a black belt in Taekwondo is the one to maybe work with. Tell us a little bit about your joy in that arena.
Yeah, so I've been training in Taekwondo martial arts for
Okay.
4 years.
All right.
And it was just something that I was never exposed to as a younger person, but I've
Right.
always been intrigued by. So, like you said, I'm a black belt.
Scared of you.
I owe a lot to, my master.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy, does a great job. But I just look at it as another tool to
Right.
help people. I think basic self-defense
Mm-hmm.
knowledge and skills practice could be beneficial for just about anybody.
Right. We got about 30 seconds left. Any final thoughts on all the things we've talked about and what you kind of want to let the public know?
Yeah, so really just excited to work with the community, come up with different ideas and projects of where we can, help people and the different populations. I'm also kind of looking at starting a abduction prevention class for
Oh,
maybe
nice.
some younger population.
Very nice.
Which will include some self-defense tactics, but just again going into the new year, show yourself some grace, don't be too hard on yourself, set goals, and
Some goals, be able to find them, and some forgiveness if you can't, right?
Correct.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it today.
all right, thank you.
Sure thing. All right, that'll do it for this particular segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming here on HTV.